Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is day number 2 of my Christmas card series for 2018. We're actually going to start off this card with a non-Christmas stamp. I'm actually going to start with the Your Next Stamps scratch pad, and we're going to use this cute little kitty here. And we're going to build a scene around him. So we're going to start with that. Cut some pieces of Strathmore watercolor paper. And we're going to take the Pretty Pink Posh scalloped frames, and we're going to die cut frames from them. And we're going to start by stamping our images on the inside of those frames. So I'm going to go and die cut this, and then I'll come back and we'll start our stamping. So I've die cut our images. This one seems to be a little bit stuck, but that's all right. We'll just help it along a little bit here. Perfect. We've got 2 identical frames and inside frames. We're going to pull in the Mini Misty, and we're going to start by stamping our cute little kitty. Now, the scene that I am trying to create is a kitty climbing the tree and getting into trouble. So since we are going to be using Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens today, which are water-based, we're going to use some VersaFine Black Onyx ink to stamp our images. So we're going to start with our little kitty image because he's in the foreground. We're going to stamp him. All right. Going to bring in our other inner piece here. Stamp it as well. Perfect. Give it a few seconds to dry. And then to create our scene, we need a mask. So I've created this very delicate mask out of Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo stamping mask paper. And the blue is the back, and the white is the paper and the sticky part. So I'm going to carefully put our little feline fella over top of the image. He's got some dainty little claws in there, so I'm trying to make sure that everything is covered here. Some of the claws I did not stamp, or sorry, I did not cut out because they were closed, so got a little ink on that one spot, so I just used a white eraser to get rid of that. I'm going to clean off my little kitty before I take him off because I know I'm going to stick my hand in it. Okay. So next, he needs a little Christmas tree to hang on to. So this is a Christmas tree, a really, really, really simple one from the My Favorite Things Merry Christmoose set. So, like I said, really, really simple. Put it over top our kitty. So our kitty stays in the front. And the tree will look like it's in the background. So again, I'm going to use VersaFine Black Onyx ink. Ink that up really good. And press it over top. Now, one tip when you are making masks for things, if you cut into the line, so for instance, see how thick this black line is here? You cut like halfway in between that line, you get a better mask because it allows the edge of that image to show up. So now that we've got our tree, I've got to peel off this little fella. I've got to transfer it over to the other piece. And I'll stamp it and I'll come right back. So I've stamped our tree. Now I'm going to take my new mask and put it right over top of everything. Now this one, because it doesn't have an edge, I just kind of went frilly with it. And We are going to do a background, so that's why I did the whole tree. Otherwise, I probably could have just got away with just the base there, because we're going to add a little rug underneath our tree. This is also included in that Merry Christmas set. So I'm going to put it right in kind of the center of that tree base. Again, black onyx ink. There we go. And I'm going to go and stamp our secondary card. So this is what our stamped image looks like. Now I'm going to go back and put all the masks back on, just like this one. So I have a mask for the bottom, the tree, and the kitty, and they're still all there. I'm just lightly tack this down with some post-it note tape, and I've got some Distress Oxide in Dusty Concord, and I'm just going to make kind of like a purple halo around our image. I'm going to start on the mask and lightly build up the color. I'm going to try and be dainty and go easy on all of my masks, just so I don't peel them up in the process of inking. So watercolor paper has a little bit of a texture, so you're going to kind of see that in the background. I'm okay with that. I decided on purple just because I really wanted to do a purple Christmas card. I don't know what it is about it, but I love purple or pink cards at Christmas time, just because they're a little bit unusual. So I'm just taking that ink down below that rug, try and get a little bit of color outside the edge of that rug. The beauty with Distress Oxides is they're very reactive with water. So if you want to go and make some splatters, that would be extra cool. You could do it right now with the masks on it, but you could also do it without the masks on it, because eventually it would just dry. Just don't color over the wet paper. Alright, so we've got our beautiful hue of purple. I'm going to go and ink the other one, and then we'll be right back to do the reveal. Alright, we're going to stick to a traditional color scheme for our little mat here. We're going to do greens on the inside panel, and we'll do reds on the outside ring. So I'm going to start by putting a base of a May green, same green that we put into our tree. on to the red aspect. I'm going to start with the red shade. I think what we'll do is we'll leave that stitched line on the outside white. Front is lighter. Actually, let's go back to our carmine. Just do just a little bit more around front. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go to our meow meow now. We're just going to add that to our kitty. And of course you can make your kitty any color you want. I thought about making him orange because I have an orange kitty, but I thought bringing orange in as another color might look kind of odd or just not as appealing to the eyes. So I just decided gray it would be. I'm going to go right down his tail. Basically going to be a solid gray kitty he is. So that's the pale gray, and we'll go in with our light gray for some shading. So I'm just going to assume that the light is kind of coming in from this way. To do the star and the tree planter. Okay, for the star we're going to go in with lemon yellow and yellow. Okay, so this is light blue, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of light blue color to his eyeballs, and we're going to make his little nose pink. Oh, so cute. And let's see, what are we going to do for this? Maybe we will use some yellows to tie that yellow back in. And I think to tie in my red, I'm going to put some dots of color up in our tree to mimic Christmas ornaments. And I think we'll bring in, let's see, this is our pale gray again. I think we'll, you know how there's the peaks to a three-dimensional star? I'm just going to draw in some fake peaks. I'm just going to add a little bit of fur detail. And then I think I'm just going to add a little bit of gray down the other side. Just going to pick up that green detail at the bottom. So that's our first card. I am going to further embellish it, but for now it's colored. Okay, I'm going to go color my other one and then we'll get on with making our card. So before we go and put all of our card elements together on the card base, we need a sentiment. So I thought this Kraftin Kimmie stamps sentiment was cute. Dear Santa, define good. And this is her Dear Santa stamp set. So I've got everything in the mini Misty here. I'm going to use my VersaFine Black Onyx ink. And we're going to stamp one part of the sentiment on one side of the tree and the other on the other side of the tree. So, Dear Santa, define good. So cute. So, because everything's in the same spot, we can drop in our other card front. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go and put all of our elements together. So I've got our frame from our die cut. Love this set. And I've attached our 3-dimensional foam adhesive to that and peel off the backing and apply it to my card front. I've got green gingham on this one. I'm just going to use my ATG gun to add some nice sticky adhesive. I'm going to be selling these cards, so I'm using lots of adhesive so everything stays together nicely. Pop it into the die, press it down to the card front floor, and there we go. We have a cute little framed Dear Santa, define good for our little kitty. And we'll add some embellishments in 1 second. So I've got my red one, I'll finish it up, and then we'll add our finishing touches. So I've got some Nouveau Crystal drops in, let's see, glitter drops in Ruby Slippers. So this has some fun glitter in it. It's hard to see, but it's all sparkly. And we're just going to add some fake ornaments. So I'm just going to get the tip going on a little scrap here. And we're just going to randomly put those little fellas all over our tree. This would look even better probably with a nice bright red, but I don't have any. So I'm going to make do with what I have. I'm going to take my glossy accents. I'm just going to do the same thing and just start it off on a little scrap. We're going to add gloss to our star to make it reflect the light. We're also going to do the kitty's nose and the kitty's eyes. This was a fun card to create, a little bit out of the norm, and of course not particularly using Christmas related stamps, and that's okay, because you know what? It's all my own. I'm going to do the same to my green one, because I chose to put a green gingham on the other one, and I'll show you my end results. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate all the love, the comments, and the thumbs up. Join me again next time on my next video.